Okay, so we've looked, maybe fairly quickly, but we've looked at the proof that Descartes offers, and I'd like to just finish off with just a couple questions to throw your way, things to think about for those of you who want to go on thinking about this. So let's dig right in. I guess the first question is, well, does the argument work? Is it sound? Remember, sound means true premises and logically valid. Um, this requires a little bit more expertise with logic and thinking through than we've done in this course. And I'll just sort of leave this sort of for you to follow up on. The proof is a famous proof, and it's not universally accepted by everybody. It has its defenders and its detractors, and it's certainly generated a lot of discussion in philosophy. So it's worth knowing about and looking at and thinking about. A few more larger kinds of questions. Okay, so how about this question? Why think that science needs to be philosophically justified anyway? Scientists don't think that. At least scientists today aren't just sitting around. I wonder if philosophy is going to be successful in proving that we can exist and that we can do what we try to do. Science just goes out and does what it does, and oftentimes it thinks that the proof for whether it can do it or not is whether it's successful in doing it. So philosophy seems to have no role in people's minds in justifying science. So for Descartes to even to suggest that was probably a big surprise to you, and certainly sounds a little bit odd. It gets even worse, right? Why think that we need to prove that the world we live in actually exists? Why would anybody want to prove that? Isn't that the sort of question that gives philosophy a bad name? Socrates wasn't wandering around wondering if the world that he lives in exists. He just took that for a fact. Yes, it exists, and let's go from there. So raising that question and saying that is this what Descartes' views mean? Is this a reason to reject the whole project? Because if he says we need to start over again, then in a sense he's saying we need to have proof for every single belief we take on. We can't just accept common sense, what people tell us, etc., etc. But then that might be the problem with the whole thing, that it's mad to start with, rather than that it's a reasonable thing to think, and let's just follow out where it takes us. Why is certainty so important? That's another issue. Why does Descartes want to be absolutely certain? Aren't there just levels of certitude? Doesn't certainty differ in different situations? Shouldn't we at least be more aware of when we want absolute certainty, like in math, and when we can be settled for other kinds of certainty? Boethius brought this up in the Consolation. You might remember that. What is the best appropriate way to acquire knowledge and learn the truth? This is the larger question about the whole project that gets going. Group efforts like Socratic dialectic or individual efforts like the Cartesian conjugate. Now, this is not simply which one do you like better. Okay, maybe you like online classes better because you like to be by yourself and working on this. Or maybe you like group projects better. But which is better for getting to the truth? That's a little deeper question than just which one do you like. And finally, what is the role of philosophy in society? Because Descartes calls that into question, right? The role of philosophy in society is to give us certainty for all our beliefs and to support science, that it can be done, and to place thoughts about God in its own context. Where Socrates says the role of philosophy is to call people to live the examined life and to call people to question what's good and what's bad and whether they're living a good life. So those are two largely different conceptions of philosophy that now we can see side by side, and so they raise the question, which one, if any of them, are better? Maybe both of them, I don't know. So I'll leave you with that. We'll move on now to John Stuart Mill, and him I see as an attempt to try to tame Descartes a little bit and to make Descartes livable in society.